Hello, everyone. I feel it's a new series here to do with another project I'm still working on, and that's Mortal Kombat Reborn. It's a fan fiction, basically. Um, Not a cringy one, I promise. I promise. Um, it's not entirely. This is something I've been working on for years now, over 3 years, 3.5 years ish. Actually, not that much, but over 3 years. Um, and it's this project that I put more into than YouTube, although YouTube I've been doing way more content for lately. But that's because making shitty little videos on my phone, my Samsung phone, that's quite easy to do in comparison to writing a big ass story. And the reason it's taken for it is because, as for our description, fanfiction.net says I was also post these on DeviantArt. DeviantArt also post various other things, usually just chapters now. I have like a few other short stories and whatnot. I'll link it all in the description. But basically, it's a retelling of Mortal Kombat, a hard reboot, by the way, not a soft reboot like MK9 or MK12, which a soft reboot is basically keeping the previous game continuity in mind. MK9 does this by being a time travel story because Rain actually goes to the past. I don't know how, but he does. That was the idea, at least at the time. That's kind of been altered as the years go by, though. And MK12 is obviously a soft reboot because it's following Liu Kang using the hourglass to reset stuff. So yeah, it's a hard reboot, and this means changes can be justified. Although I am mostly faithful to the original source material, because why wouldn't you? Why would you change something that doesn't need changing? There are some changes. Again, I think retcons are fine in some ways, and just changes generally are okay. Um, so yeah, we'll get into all of it. But yeah, this is retelling every story in the original timeline. So MK1 through to Armageddon, I have retellings for. There's also kind of a period that would probably count as its own dedicated storyline I finished a few months ago. And that's between MK4 and Day Alliance. Basically, I have a time jump after MK4. Um, and the Day Alliance stuff happens like 20 years after. That's to get like the new gen characters around. I think that's probably the best place to do it after MK4. Um, because MK4 you want to have it right after MK3 because the whole point of it was Shinnok taking advantage of all the from Outworld bullshit. He's taking advantage of that, right? So you want it to kind of happen right after it. But yeah, after you can have a break. I mean, Day Alliance, it was like 10 years away from the first game, the original context. So yeah, there's a time gap in the original story. But yeah, I'll be focusing on my Mortal Kombat 1 retelling in particular, which shouldn't take long to cover. It's only a few chapters, 9 to be exact. And my sections get longer and longer, and the chapters have gone longer and longer. Although I say that they're kind of at like a period. There's some that are like very long, the special chapters. Like I'm working on one now. That's like 10,000 words at the moment. But usually it's like 4,000, 5,000 words for like a regular chapter now. Just a standard chapter, nothing serious going on. But yeah, there's been some very long ones, and these ones aren't very long. It's just like 1,000 words. A couple of them are under 1,000. I remember it would take like a day to make these, honestly, and now it takes me months. So yeah, there's been a bit of a growth in learning writing and stuff. Because I started when I was 14. I'm 18 now. Like I've been doing this for that fucking long. So yeah, there's no small improvements, and the only unfortunate part is anyone's starting the story now. That means you have to go through the MK1 and 2 stuff, which I've been told isn't bad. But I mean, The writing quality is not as good as what I understand now. Not that I'm perfect with stuff like just writing techniques generally. Not even anything in particular, but it's much better and there's much more detail and there's just much more uniqueness to the stories now. But I'm gonna cover every chapter basically. I don't even know. Did I explain that already? Did I explain that this series we're just covering each chapter? I'm just giving like an overview of each chapter. So if you're interested, you can have a read. If you want, you can just use the overview videos for MK1 and MK2 to skip those. Okay, I think MK3 is where like things really get decent, I'd say. I mean, tournament stories are kind of lame to begin with. I think my tournament stories are serviceable, but yeah, there's nothing that I'd call standout at that time. And I think a lot of it's just from like inexperience at the time. But I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible for like fanfic standards. We'll cover it. We'll cover it. Now. So yeah, we'll start with chapter 1. Oh, by the way, there are a lot of chapters. Over 500,000 words total. There's a lot. So yeah, there's been a lot of growth with this project. So yeah, the MK1 stuff is pretty bog standard compared to what I go on to do. So yeah, Mortal Kombat Reborn Chapter 1, it has begun, which is the one time you do that Shang Tsung line reference. You don't keep doing it, you do it when the thing starts. That's it. So yeah, this is Chapter 1. It's the beginning. The tournament begins. I chose to just have it start at the tournament. I mean, kind of like MK9. That's just, a lot of it actually set for MK9 because I think MK9 is the best tournament time. This would have been made well before stuff like Scorpion's Revenge and like the 2021 movie. Oh, but that's not even a tournament, is it? But yeah, Scorpion's Revenge is bad anyway. There's nothing to really take from there. MK9 is fucking shit. It's really bad, but like if you're pulling from anything for a tournament story, I think it's the only one with actual stuff to pull from. To be honest, I mean, there's the old Midway prequel comics for like events like before the tournament. I think it's significant for that, but I don't. I think that's a waste of time. Honestly, I think you just go to the tournament. I think that's a more interesting introduction point. But that might just be me. I don't know. But yeah, the tournament starts. It begins with Shang Tsung greeting everyone to the island. Again, like MK9, when I reread this, I mean, I was surprised by how much poorer my writing quality is back here compared to now. I'm just bashing my own writing. Jesus Christ. I swear, this story's not bad. I love it comes from MK9. And I noticed that. And it starts with like, Johnny Cage being a rude asshole, gets Sung's attention. And the rulings for this tournament are, and I don't think I properly explained it, but like you'll be able to tell as you read through and you notice how the fights are structured. Basically, it's a gauntlet style thing. There's no tournament brackets because I think that's too limiting for a tournament story that has never had any like proper rules. But it needs proper rules, and I just ran with a gauntlet set with Earthrealm versus Outworld, of course. The host, Shang Tsung in this case, just picks. He just picks whoever to face whoever whenever he wants. He's the host, which allows for him to do some like shady shit. It allows for shenanigans, but it still is a rule. There's actual progress being made with the tournament. Unlike MK9, it doesn't just suddenly get to chapter 5 and suddenly, Liu Kang, you can face the champion now. Like, why? Why is he facing the champion? But yeah, basically, you got the gauntlet, he puts two people together, whoever loses is out. And that's it. There's no specific like rulings on like people who like how many times you fight or whatever. It's just an eliminator. If you put in a fight, you gotta beat your person or you're out. You gotta beat them and then they're out, and of course the numbers will go down for both sides. and then either all of the Rams forces it out, or if Outworld forces it out, which in that case, you get to fight Goro. So yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I don't think I explained it the best in this. But yeah, I think there's like other shenanigan rules and stuff. There's a lot of shenanigans with torrent stories. But yeah, having made himself a target immediately, Shang Tsung puts Johnny Cage against Baraka again, kind of like MK9 again. Although the difference here is, I think Johnny fought Reptile and Baraka and MK9, and MK9 he beats them both without even knowing it's a real fight. So I'm actually not taking for MK9 for that. Instead, what happens is Baraka kicks his ass to just straight up jobber. He just jobs out to Baraka, to Johnny. No, to Baraka. Baraka beats up Johnny. Johnny jobs out to Baraka. There we are. And yeah, Shang Tsung does his whole finish him thing, and Baraka's like, okay, yeah, sure. Because I mean, who fucking cares about Johnny? Just kill him. And then Sonya, because you got the audience, you got the Sonya's there, because that's not cool, killing people. Sonya interferes, and prevents Baraka from killing him. And like interference is against the rules, of course, and that's like the one consistent rule we have in MK is you can't interfere in the tournament fights. The argument is that the fight's over either way. Sung's like, oh, take her away to the dungeons, and that leads to chapter 2, but not just yet because of some other stuff. I debut Scarlet here, which is an unusual choice, admittedly. He kills like a grey costume ninja. Again, I think that's an MK9 callback, if I recall correctly. Just a random guy. Context for like the fighters, and I believe this idea comes a lot later. I think this is a detail I put in a chapter a lot later, rather than any of these chapters. I could have missed it when I reread through all this, but basically the idea is that there's a quota to fill. Shang Tsung has to fill it as the host, in terms of people participating in the tournament. Raiden can also contribute this. He can put champions forward. For example, the White Lotus, they obviously have a hand-picked student. Raiden takes to the tournament, right? And yeah, it's... This is why there's like some jobbers and some credible fighters, basically, because, Shang Tsung's like, yeah, I want credible fighters because he's a greedy motherfucker. He wants powerful souls to consume. But he doesn't want a whole tournament of really powerful warriors that could be opponent for his outward forces. I can't remember the exact number I had it at. It might have been like 50 on each side. And of course, we don't see everything. There's a lot of stuff going on outside. And I think it's if I explain it, because yeah, some of these chapters are rushed. Some of these early chapters are very rushed. But yeah, there's a quota to fill, basically, because again, the tournament is the Elder Gods thing. That there's got to be like some proper, like proper stats to it, some proper rulings. So yeah, someone's gonna have some jobbers, I mean, a lot. It ties into like the dark prison law, and the whole thing with that was the prisoners in the dark prison. For those who don't know, dark prison is a deception stage, and the law for it is it's a dungeon area in Shang Tsung's palace in Outworld, and the context for who he kept captive there was like people who he'd either like just keep around to eventually take their souls, or he'd eventually bring them to a tournament. He'd use them as tournament fodder, essentially. And Johnny Cage, obviously a character who he would have invited with the intention of being tournament fodder, to fill in that quota, basically. So there's some context there. I think that makes sense for Johnny to be there, to even have an invitation, right? I think that makes more sense than various other reasons they've provided over the years. But yeah, so scene away, you have the Scarlet fight, just to show off her powers, really. And Liu Kang has a fight against Katana. And yeah, they do fight. I mean, it's not much. It's not much going on. There's nothing I improve at is writing fight scenes. That's something that's improved. Like a lot of it's just like kind of generic. You show some powers, but that's short. Which I guess some people might prefer shorter fight scenes when it's literature. It's kind of hard to get. It's obviously kind of hard to get into a fight scene when it's writing, because obviously fight scenes are all like at all the flashy visuals and whatnot. That's like the only negative to literature. Obviously, it's that it's just text. But yeah, they fight. Liu Kang wins basically. Shock, I know, and doesn't kill Katana because Liu Kang doesn't kill people, and Katana's surprised by this, which I don't like. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that that if you're not from Earth and like, oh, you're sparing me, what the fuck? I think that's dumb. I don't think that should be there. This is like a really poor, like a really lazy way to set up their romance, and that never happens in the story. It's not like I like fucking baited into it. Like this could be seen as setup, right? But it could also be just contextualized as set up as allies, friends, whatever. The only reason you'd think it would be bromance, but from how I wrote it was obviously the fact that they're a couple in official MK. But yeah, I didn't go that route because honestly they're a really boring pairing. I don't think there's any benefit to come from it. So yeah, that doesn't happen. But I think I tried starting it here. Another thing, and it's something I'm gonna have to change after this video, is the detail of when Shang Tsung's announced the katana, which I remember changing this ages ago, but I guess I didn't transfer it to the fanfiction.net version. Is that Shang Tsung like refers to her as like the Edenian warrior katana or whatever I said. Basically, the problem there is Edenian because there's a whole other thing going on where basically Shao Kahn has committed Edenian erasure, just erased the history of that like people, and basically Katana does not know that she's Edenian, and that's for the whole context of you're just my legitimate daughter. There's no shady origin story behind you, Katana, right? So like stuff like that. That's why that's kind of a contradiction. Stuff that comes later. So that's something I got rid of because I am not changing my story plans because 14-year-old me was a dumbass and wrote that little detail in. So yeah, I need to get rid of that. I need to get rid of. I reread these every now and then because I notice these issues and I'm like, okay, gotta correct that. It's not a complete story. I can change shit. Okay, I'm allowed to do that. But yeah, that's basically the end of the chapter. Gang wins. It's just tournament fights, right? It does tournament fights, which set up stuff. To be fair, like Scarlet set up just as a character, comes across as this big threat. She's very aggressive, this whole bloodthirsty gimmick, right? That does not last. She gets development. I don't know if I had that in mind at the time, but this is very much in line with like what we knew of like MK9 Scarlet, like a villain Scarlet. Who just wants blood. She just wants blood. A little bit of a blood addict, And she's like, oh yeah, I want another fight. And Sung's like, no, I'm not doing that. So yeah, and it also sets up stuff like the next chapter with Sonya. Sets up Johnny and Sonya's romance. It sets up Liu Kang and Katana's whatever. So yeah, on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, the Champion's Lair. Of course, go back to Gora's Lair. And yeah, dungeons of Gora's Lair, basically. Sonya's brought to Gora's Lair. This is one of my worst chapters. This is probably the worst. That or chapter 7. We'll get to chapter 7. It's fucking bad. But this one's bad. Firstly, I don't like Gora's Lair anymore. basically because it follows like the very old lore for the Shokan. Like it's a cool area, but it's not accurate to what we know of now. And basically, the reason why it's like this underground dungeon space is because the old lore for the Shogun was that they lived underground. But that's not the case anymore. So why is the champion, the prince of the champion of Morkan, the prince of the Shogun, why is he living in this smelly little dungeon area? I think I do explain it later, but this is my take now to justify it is Shang Tsung's just using him. I I think it's as simple as that, but yeah, I wish I hadn't done it regardless. Um, but yeah, science down there, and but like the only time I freaking do this, at least using like index, I don't think I use this writing technique. Not in this format, that is, where I just wrote like sentences in the index style, and it's just Sonia's thoughts. Basically, she's like, "Oh, there's Jax here because it's dungeon space." Again, MK9, Jax was here, part of the squad. The rest of the squad was killed, basically. Which I don't care. I don't care what the context of Sonia being on the island is anymore. I just did both because again, I don't care. I don't think it especially matters. If you can introduce Jax early on, I think that's fine. I think that's fine, really. Um, but yeah, encounters Goro, which I think I did a decent job. Like, oh, look at this scary four-on motherfucker. Beats up Sonya because it's Goro. And then Shang Tsung just pulls up with Kano, again introducing that kind of rivalry. And basically Sonya was not here to be a participant in a tournament. She's here to go after to because the squad, of course, goes after Kano with the squad, and then she after the squad. So that's the focus now. But yeah, that was when she came to the island. She wasn't there as a participant, and Shang was like, "Nah, you're gonna participate in a tournament. Like I've got to tell the other guys that I'm in the status quota. I got all the Earthrealm fighters. So yeah, you're gonna have to fight Kano. Kano beats her because Goro beat her up. That's the only justification for why Kano can beat Sonya here, and not get Sonya out of the tournament already. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I really don't. Kano, after winning, goes to finish Sonya. Raiden intervenes and it's like, yeah, you're not doing that. You're already bending the rules, so I get to intervene because that's Raiden's whole thing. He's there to, he has the right to interfere if necessary. He's basically the one who overall judges the fairness of the tournament, and Sung's bending the rules, but not enough to like draw the ire of the Elder Gods, basically. Which is why it's like stuff like this. Like, yeah, I mean, he's not breaking any rules technically, but it's shady stuff. Like it feels very convoluted, admittedly. It makes sense, but it feels like a bit much. I'm not exactly sure how my decision making led to such an oddly specific scenario. I feel like I was just doing stuff as I went along. I feel like this is the point where I didn't have any particular plans, which is why I feel like a lot of my ideas that stem from stuff here came later. There's also something I like here. There's a lot of. I mean, stuff I like is like Kano's introduction. I explain the Black Dragon well, and like just a paragraph, and bring up the Red Dragon because the Red Dragon are very important to the context of the Black Dragon. But there's weird stuff like Goro when he introduces himself to Sonya's like, oh my god, it's Goro who's the champion of all God. Basically kind of big him up as like yeah, he's the champion of all come, you're gonna know who he is. But the problem is it's Sonya. Why would Sonya know who the fuck Goro is? I'm not rewriting that bit because I guess you could explain it as, well, people mention him at the tournament, but how I wrote it was, of course she knew who he was. Like, it's dumb. And also I noticed more though. It's like Shang Tsung's like, oh, but you will not be facing Goro. And then Kano shows up, and then his first line is by me, not but me. Um, yeah, I don't know. And I feel like this is like edited. I swear I edited it, but it was from my DeviantArt one. And I'm like, oh god, I gotta change all this shit. I can't be asked. I can't be fucking bothered with 14-year-old me and his dumb little brain. What? I can't get over it. But yeah, that's literally all the chapter. Well, actually, no. Braden gets somewhere out goes to this inn, which is where the fighters stay. And also Jax. Free Jax. Probably should have mentioned that. It's free as Jax. Gets over quick. I think if you're gonna have Jax as a captain, you just get him out quickly. I think the only intrigue in him being a prisoner is, well, it's just to get him on the island. Except he's not a participant, but it's like, hey, here's Jax, we're introducing him now. They go to the inn together, and then the person at the inn, and I feel like this is kind of cool, actually. I think this is actually kind of a cool idea. I think the inn makes sense. Like how just having a place for the fighters to stay, right? And I think like an inn's kind of like fits with that old timey island shit, right? And yeah, the innkeeper is Aaron Black, and it's all time to a chapter later on. And I think that's actually a very cool idea I had here. Basically, Aaron Black, and I always wanted to stick him with Shang Tsung. Even with my story to this day, he's still aligned with Shang Tsung. He'll get an arc at some point in my Dead Alliance story, which, by the way, I am on my Dead Alliance story. That's what I'm doing right now. Kind of just started it with the Dead Alliance following. But yeah, Aaron Black is like a group, and I kept expanding it as time goes on. And now it's a group called the Everlasting Eight. And basically, it's like all these Earthrealmers who have prolonged aging. So they've been around for like hundreds of years from different points in history. And yeah, Aaron's one of them. And of course, he's the first one to appear since he is the one who is an actual character. This ties into his MKX lore because Sung's the reason he has prolonged aging. And I think him being the Shang Tsung just gives him more to do. Because he's a lackey regardless, Aaron. You either make him a loner, which then why is he featured in the story at all? Or you make him a lackey to someone. So I went with the latter. And I think being a lackey to Shang Tsung works. It's far more interesting than the Kotal group or whatever. So yeah. That's it. That's it basically. We'll move on to the next chapter. The Vengeful Spectre. So we're back to the courtyard. You know, Shang Tsung's like, "Oh, who's ready for some more filler fights?" And Quan Chi pulls up. I think Quan Chi, Shang and MK1 with Scorpion actually work. I still stand by this actually. He shows up with Scorpion, and basically he goes to like Shang Tsung on his little throne thing. And then talking about Scorpion has a fight with Kung Lao. Kung Lao doing mascot disguise again, coming from MK9, which I use too much for MK9. I feel I think how I rework the ideas, even if like the explanations come a bit later, I think work. But I think this goes to anyone should write stories, and I know MK stories. Just fanfics in general is fanfics try too hard to call back to everything, or they're trying to whatever they are adapting, it's always in a way copying what the original thing did and just doing it in a less professional way. And that's what these chapters are. I later contextualize them in a better way as the story moves away from the tournament stuff, and thus I get to do more unique stuff, and that's where I kind of figured out like what I'm good at with writing this thing. And yeah, like I think there's too much here, but it works. The context for Kung Lao here isn't that he's jealous of Liu Kang being chosen one of those. He's both concerned for his friend, and he also wants to be there to avenge the great Kung Lao. And I think he did a good job. He fights Scorpion. Scorpion beats him, which I probably wouldn't do that now. But I don't care. I think you can not go either way. But I do feel like Kung Lao should probably be treated as a more credible fighter. Considering to be trained with the same people as Liu Kang, he's probably like just a bit he's just like a bit weaker than Liu Kang. I'd say now. But yeah, I don't think it's the end of Scorpion beating him. Especially when it's a very angry Scorpion. He like shows up. He's like, "Where's Sub-Zero? I wanna fight Sub-Zero." Sub-Zero, who's nowhere to be fucking seen. He's gone. And I explain this later. The actual reasoning was I forgot about him, legit. Until he needed to show up to die to Scorpion. Which Scorpion's Revenge then did the same thing. So MK Legends just copies me clearly. I do explain Bihan's absence, but it's a lot to get into right now. But Scorpion, yeah, he basically explains because Shang Tsung's like, "You're not invited. Get the fuck out of off my island." And Scorpion's like, "Actually, I was invited. You invited me when I was a mortal man, hands of Versace." And he's like, "Oh, okay, and just fight, I guess." Kung Lao just pulls at me. He's like, why is everyone intruding on my fucking tournament? And he's just like, you two idiots fight. I need to talk to this bald hottie right now. So yeah, what they fight. Khonshi's basically explaining that, yeah, this whole guy, he just wants revenge on this Bihan guy. And from my understanding, you've got a bit of a contract with the Lin Kuei right now. I get it. I dealt with the Lin Kuei before. And yeah, again, that's going off of MK9, where the Lin Kuei are actually in the services of Shang Tsung and by extension Shao Kahn. I actually think this is the right move for him, honestly. And I don't know how much of a hot take that is, but I still stand by that decision to this day, because I think it makes way more sense. Because I mean, MK1 Bihan, like he's there to assassinate Shang Tsung, but you go from mythology. Sung invites him in the first place, of course. So then it just raises the question of who the hell's paid to have him killed, and the only explanation we could go off of, and this wouldn't have been the intended one because Quan Chi comes away later, but the only one you can think of is, it would have been Quan Chi. But that doesn't fit in with my narrative because Quan Chi wants a partnership with Shang Tsung. They're friends already at this point because mythologies, they were already doing deals. They were the two that like struck the alliance between Never and Outward on behalf of Shinnok and Shao Kahn, mind you. But like they were the two like having meetings, talking about this stuff. So he's aware, of the business they're doing because I mean he fights the tournament high and. When he does that, he gets the services of the Lin Kuei, Cyrax Sector, and Bihan in particular. And they were his top guys. Lin Kuei Grandmaster's top guys, I'd say, at the time. Smoke and Kwai, probably say you can probably like go to they're in the top 5, but they're a bit more inexperienced. They're not ready for the tournament, basically. It is where my mindset's at for that. And yeah, I think it works. I think this is generally a good job. I've been very critical of my own chapters. I've been very critical. I don't think anyone watching this learning of what this is. I don't think I'm very selling you on this story. But yeah, I think this is actually decent. The whole comics verse, and it sets up Daily Alliance really, because that was something I wanted to do from the start. I knew I wanted to do Daily Alliance because they're such a cool duo, and they have a lot of history, they have a lot of similarities but a lot of differences at the same time. So yeah, them talking, alluding to their inevitable not alliance, I think that's very cool. Again, my dialogue's not too great at this time, and of course there's a bit of a lack of detail compared to my newer chapters. By newer, I mean like the past 50 or so, like the over half of it is just like the first 20. Like when you get to the 20s, the late 20s, it's like okay, it's picking up. 30s, and 40s, I think is like around the quality that I'm at to this day on chapter 94 I'm working on now. So yeah, it's been a lot of growth. So please understand that. I'm very critical, but this is stuff I did when I was 4 years younger. I started this 3 years ago, right? So yeah, Scorpion wins. Well done, Scorpion. But the whole context for why Quan Chi was explaining all this is basically to strike a deal with Shang Tsung. If you let Scorpion get his revenge, then in return, Scorpion can have Outworld can have Scorpion services basically. Quan Chi will have Scorpion work for them. This isn't coming to pass, by the way, because Scorpion has no reason to stay with Quan Chi after getting his revenge. And that's why it definitely makes sense with MK9. And even I realised this at the time, was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I feel like I take a lot from MK9, but the fortunate part of these retangs is I know when to pull away from it. So I'm very glad 14-year-old me knew to do that. Because it makes calling back to this part of the story a heck of a lot easier. Because I think a lot of this stuff sets up well. It sets up for a lot of stuff nicely. And I get a bit of contextualized stuff later on for it. So when you get the full picture, this isn't as bad as it seems. But if you take chapters individually, then, yeah, they're not great. These earlier ones. But yeah, that's the thing. You let Bihan, you put Bihan in a fight with this vengeful fucking maniac. Let him kill Bihan. Then yeah, you've just got this new guy. Yeah, and if Scorpion can kill him, then yeah, he's gonna be a much better a much better assistant. It's proved that he's the more capable warrior. So someone's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And what he's done in response to that is basically and I explain this much later because I didn't have an actual explanation at the time. Is he secludes Bihan a separate party island, like on this because tournament fights happening everywhere, and basically it's like a medieval night. One of this Everlasting 8 group I established later on. Carrot Bennett is his name. He's basically brought him to his mini tournament, and he was basically in charge of that, and then he brings Bihan in when Shang Tsung tells him to, when it's time for him to reconnect. This also separates him from Sector and Cyrax, and that's important because he's got to get rid of them now. He's got to get rid of them now because they're gonna find that they'll already find that suspicious, and something learns that in this chapter right after this. I have the next fight: Nightwolf versus Cyrax, and the law for how the Earthbound's fight on the Outworld side is I just got rid of the old law that Outworlders can't fight for Earthbound vice versa. I think that's a necessary restriction. The law only existed to explain why Boraicho's absent. I don't really think I had a counter explanation now. He's ready to fight for MK2. He's ready to fight then, but because of his Shao Kahn, he made that arrangement again that comes from MK9. But I think that's a very good idea for MK9 to have the context for MK2. Actually, is it even an MK9 thing? I don't think it is. I can't remember anymore. But yeah, the whole thing that's going off for MK2 was that it's Shao Kahn's tournament, so there's a lot more rules bent, like this handicap match and stuff. There's a lot more bullshit going on. And that just like spices it up because it's 2 tournament stories back to back. You gotta try and mix it up a bit. And yeah, basically he like pulls this rule out his ass. Erin's in the tournament at this point. And then they're just kind of like, no, he's an Outworlder. We promise. And they can't do anything because, Rain, you made a deal with fucking Shao Kahn, you idiot. The whole MK2 scene is just Shao Kahn just like fucking with people and gaslighting everyone, which I stand by that. That is a very Shao Kahn thing to do. Shao Kahn-y. Anyway, back to this chapter. Nightwolf and Cyrax. Nightwolf obviously wins because it's Nightwolf. Meijio. He's the second strongest Earthrealm character at the tournament, you know? And he makes so much sense to be here, having Nightwolf here. So yeah, he's around until like the very end of the tournament in the Barracks. So, and his first win here is over Cyrax. And Cyrax walks off, and we'll get to him. But this is really bad. I didn't even know I did this until I was reread. This is so fucking bad. This is so bad. So now I'm going to have an interaction, and again, kind of an MK9 callback. Oh god. And now I've paused the "you're a slave to anger" line, which fucking hell. Again, when you pull lines like that, it makes this all feel like a fanfic because I was pulling too much from the source material, and I'm the good source material because the NRS fucking stories. It's such a forced line, and it's like, oh, it was right with vengeance, and then I was just, and then I had notes say, "You're the only person whose people were massacred, but I do not cling to the past." What? A lot of questions on why I had him say that. That's not even accurate for two, why did I have the Native American character say I do not cling to the past? Fucking hell. 14-year-old me, you can't be having characters say that. Jesus Christ. I am definitely writing that out. That is fucking, that is genuinely atrocious. I am so sorry. That is fucking awful. Like, Jesus Christ. Good fucking Lord. Right. Moving on. Actually, I just went around to check what happens next. And I've got the order completely wrong, actually. I showed a Kung Lao scoring fight. Then Quan Chi talks to Shang Tsung. So I don't even write up the Nightwolf Cyrax fight scene. It just, after the conversation between Tsung and Quan Chi, I just say, oh, and the fight between Nightwolf and Cyrax over and Nightwolf won. Fucking hell. Jesus. And Scorpion's just sent back to the Netherrealm because he gets angry at Nightwolf, and then Quan Chi's like, fuck off back to the Netherrealm. I'll collect you later. Which, where in the Netherrealm are you sending him? Bro doesn't have a home. Where do you send him? God, this is just turning me critiquing. I'm trying to. By the way, I wrote the intro before even rereading these, so a lot of fucking strong feelings. Oh my god. And as the last, before Cyrax walks off, I also forgot about this part. Raiden talks to me about the cyber initiative and stuff, and then Raiden pulls the, oh, I guess cyberization would be a fate worse than death line. Shut the fuck up. No, it wouldn't be. Jesus Christ. Stop copy-pasting MK9 stuff. Jesus fucking Christ, 14-year-old me. I think this is the worst chapter. This is the worst chapter now that I've reread it. This is fucking atrocious. This is so bad. I want to completely rewrite this now. Every time I go and check my old stuff, I realize I want to completely rewrite this. Fucking hell. I don't want to continue. I don't even want to continue. I think this is a fucking failed series. I think it's a failed series. Oh my god. Right, I'm going to have to make the executive decision here, right? I'm going to make a decision here. I think we're going to bring back Froster Talks for this episode. I'm going to title this as Froster Talks, because I haven't even been editing it or anything. I'm not going to edit this, I'm just going to throw in, like, the text of the chapter names. I probably won't even throw in the text of the actual chapters, because it's fucking embarrassing, but, yeah, I think it's the Froster Talks episode rather than an actual series. I think we're going to go with that. Oh, man. I'm not continuing. I'm fucking done. I'm so done. I am so done. We'll finish the chapter. We'll finish the chapter. This fucking peak literature. And yeah, I did the MK9 thing, actually. I thought it was for other reasons, but no, it's completely separate. Shang Tsung just tells Katana, oh, kill him now. Sorry, it's because he talked to Raiden. This gets worse. This keeps getting worse. I misremember this. I like gassed myself into thinking this wasn't. I knew it was bad, but it's so much worse. Because every time I bring this up with friends, right, it'd be like, it's not that bad. It fucking is. This is so atrocious. This is so bad. It's better than like any gang official tournament story, but that's by default. And yeah, he walks to the pit because I guess it's next to the courtyard. I don't know why. And then Katana confronts him, have a fight. Katana severs his fucking arm for some reason, cuts his arm off, and then he falls off the pit. He like clings onto like the side though, like the pillars, and that's how he survives. And this isn't the only time someone falls down a pit. Scar does another chapter, and Reptile saves him, and that sets up like a little group with them, like one which I actually think is very cool. Problem is, Reptile's nowhere to be found. When the whole thing is anyone falls down a pit, you kill them, Reptile. Make sure they're dead. That's his job. I guess Bruce Spears, he's not doing his job. I guess that's my explanation for that. Is Reptile's not doing his job because why would he? So yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, he makes route, and I went with the MK11 crypt layout here. So, meaning there's an elevator at the bottom of the pit to go up, and then there's like the like dining room. Goes there, and that's where all the villains are. I never read it. This is actually not chapter 3. Jesus Christ, I was so bad with chapter formatting. Back here, I did a chapter per scene. Each scene was a chapter. Like, if this was me now, all this content would be in one chapter. This would be like the prologue chapter, just MK1. I wish I did that now. Again, I'm seriously contemplating just rewriting the MK1 and 2 sections, but I think it's more important to just move forward, at least at the moment, and I can revisit the older stuff later and polish them. But Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, we're talking about chapter 4 apparently, so you get an extra chapter out of me before I fucking cry. Goes to dine where it's like, oh, all the villains are here, gathered around, and they barely talk. I rushed through the scene because the one thing I like is Sector's characterization, because Sector, I don't treat Sector as like a generic villain here. He's not a villain. He's concerned for his friend. He uses his fucking flamethrowers to heal his injuries or something. That's not how that works. But go on, mate. Helps him out, and he's like, don't worry, buddy, Cyrus will fix it up, which I think that was the entire payoff for me having him have a severed limb. My logic was, well, he'll lose an arm. And maybe that was because, maybe it's because I was thinking of the saw blade, how he has a saw blade, and how that wouldn't work if he had a human hand under there. Maybe that's it. It's not a big deal, but it's like why? It's just not necessary. Especially when there's another black man who keeps losing his fucking arms. 14-year-old me, why are you being so fucking racist in these chapters? Good lord. That's the end of that chapter. That does literally end that chapter. I'm nothing else to say. Nothing else to say. Oh my god. This is tragic. This is so tragic. I gotta fix these chapters. I'll post this to Frosted Talks, because Frosted Talks is literal shit post at this point. I haven't done a Frosted Talks in fucking forever. Kind of funny to look back on, so I will upload this, but no, this isn't gonna be serious. This is paying me too much to reread this. Like actual painful to read this and give my thoughts, and then read another one and give my thoughts. Oh my god. Right. I'm done. I'm done. I have nothing else to say other than the new stuff's fine. The new stuff I do is good. Even I've been told it's pretty good apparently. This stuff not so much. If you saw on the fic, and you don't have much time, I'd just skip to the MK3 section. That's chapter 23, I think. I can't remember. It's in the 20s. just fucking God, move past the MK1 section. Just do that, please. I can't even read it. I can't even reread this, and I fucking wrote it. This is a fucking embarrassment, and it needs a rewrite. It is in desperate need for a rewrite, and every fucking year I'm like contemplating this because if you're a new viewer, this is your first impression. And like whenever people go and they give like genuine criticism that I agree with, I'm like, yeah, thanks, but I've actually already solved these issues with my writing and whatnot, and even story stuff, because I became much more competent at this. This was many years ago now. So it's really outdated. That's the problem with doing such a long story, is that happens, and I was just learning stuff. And yeah, I'm at a consistent level now, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's good to improve. It's definitely good to see it improve, but you don't have an incentive to keep reading, really. Especially when it's like so much like, is it all that quality? So that's what I've always thought. I mean, the fic does incredible views, I feel. It gets a lot of traction for a fanfic, and I do appreciate the support on that. Jesus Christ. This is not, but I don't know how bad the MK2 one is. I remember the MK2 section being a lot better. Still not good, but like I was improving. But man, I feel like I need to redo it all, and like keep the scenes the same, because I can't just go over that. But I need to just change how I wrote it all, like all the dialogue and stuff that wouldn't be like retcons per se, at least not irrelevant. Like when I edit stuff in or out of chapters, which is what I will be doing. I will be editing that Nightwolf line ASAP, because good fucking lord. That's real bad. That is real bad. That should not be there. I am genuinely sorry. That is not good. That you people get cancelled for shit like that. Anyway, I think we're done. I think we are actually done. This went from just me talking about the fic and stuff to me having a meltdown over the fic. I'll do another jump. I feel like because I did want to talk about fanfic on the channel. It's not the way though, because this isn't promotion for it. Not good promotion, at least. I'll probably do. I don't know. I mean, one thing I was feeling was like talking about like story ideas I have for characters, and then going off what I did in Reborn, like just general character roles, which I guess is like fucking forcing its waste of potential, but except my ideas are actually good. So that's something I've always thought of doing, but I don't know what I title it, and I don't know how I really format it. So there's an idea. If you have ideas, let me know in the comments. If you've watched till the end. Appreciate you too. And this was a lot of fun. This was funny. It was funny, but not at the same time. It's funny and sad. r/funny and sad, or whatever the fuck that subreddit's called. Any other updates? I am doing Yankee vs DC video where it's what would you call it? Fuck. The overview of the game. That's not the word. I don't know the word. I'm finishing this fucking video. See you later, guys.